because I'm going to speak to Ernest Holm Svendsen from Denmark. We don't know each other very well, but I've seen you here because we've had courses here for 3 years in a row now.
Yeah.
But I've liked you. Every time I see you, I smile. I find myself. So who is this man? So before this sending that we do tonight, I had to check you up a little bit, and I got even more interested. But I think what we're partly going to talk about is the work of Byron Katie, which is one of your big inspiration. But I also like to talk a little bit about your way into that work. But also life in general, and those Mundekulla live sessions has come about due to the corona, so there's a Swish number in the bottom, Swedish number. You can also read below for the international account number if you want to send a little donation for what we do here. This is also a way for us in Mundekulla to connect and reach out to people out there and say that we're still alive.
Important these days.
Yeah, it's interesting how actually Corona has come about, a really internet revolution, online revolution.
Yeah.
Even for us here, we started broadcasting and live streaming a lot of our events now, and it's interesting. And today I have a new camera, which make it possible for us to sit in front of the window and the nature in Mundekulla.
Which is like such an important part of Mundekulla, right? The environment around it.
So. Yeah, I think that's what people like. That's usually what comes around, and people kind of lift up as one of the highlights.
Yeah.
And the food.
Well, all of it. But yeah, let's have it all. We could be eating some of the wonderful cake you get here. It's incredible. But yeah.
No, but that's wonderful. So I've read a little bit about you, and the first thing that I think hit me was that you made a bestseller.
Yeah.
Is that in Denmark or is it?
No, that's in Denmark.
It's in Denmark. It's not like worldwide.
No.
But it has an English title though. Or maybe
I've put it out in English, but that was last year actually.
Okay.
So even though it's I don't know how old, 20 years ago I published it in Denmark.
Oh, was it 20 years ago?
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been engaged in personal growth, but also I think that theme was more to live in the now and to be.
Yeah. That book is about being present. And I put it out in English in part because I just felt I should do that and then cross that off the list. But also, I realized when I reread it that I had put it out. It came out, just before Eckhart Tolle and the whole that whole mindfulness wave came. And so the language and the descriptions are not influenced by all these later ways. And as I reread it, I realized this actually feels like a fresh perspective, although it's an older perspective. But there's like a groove now around how we perceive this whole presence thing. So I think I felt it had something to offer, so I put it out.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but that was a Danish bestseller, but enough to get things going. Enough to get things going for me. Yeah.
Okay, so that kind of made people pretty much a lot of people know about you in Denmark in this field, so to say.
I don't know. I don't know how many people know.
Because I know you have a YouTube channel and you do some things on work.
Yeah, I do a lot, but that's directed at an international audience. That's like for people who are interested in the work. Back in the day when it came out, there was I starred in some TV documentary stuff, and so in those days people would recognize me, but you know how it is with fame these days. It's the 15-minute thing. So, but that's nice. I mean, what I did back then was more like keynote talks and lectures and not so in depth as what I do today. So it was very suitable that it was like more broad and accessible for many people. And then what I do today has more like the medicine quality of you really. You need to want it. It's not just feel good. It's hard work sometimes.
I saw that also on the course here these coming days that it really brought up emotions. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to digging deeper into that and talking more about that. But what made you write the book?
Well, the story is I was from a very young age I've been very engaged in the whole what is the mind and spirituality and sort of mysteries or mystic thinking and religion and I was at the time I was in my 20s, early 20s, I was running this center for theosophy actually, which is like in Aarhus in Denmark, and And I had been very deep into that whole New Age thing, and my head was so big I was about to explode. And I knew so much. It was so much knowledge about, anything from Atlantis to astrology to, all kinds of things. And at some point I realized that I know all this stuff. Like I have a lot of knowledge, but what do I actually know is true and helpful? And that was like a big shift for me. What is like, what can make a difference instead of
how
just
can you engage in the world?
Yeah,
and have an impact.
Yeah, but and in my own world, like this knowledge didn't actually help. It was just knowledge, and then and that's why I sort of sat down and or it was a process, of course, but it was like, okay, what actually works? What's actually true? And as I threw away more and more of this knowledge stuff, the core that appeared for me was presence. Just simply being present. And today I think it's pretty obvious, luckily, that is at the core of so much of all these different traditions and teachings. And so so in my own mind I was boiling that down, and I really got to, that's the essence. How can I be present in the now? And then I started working on that, and then that became the book, basically.
Wonderful. How do you have some kind of daily practice today to kind of get back to and be aware and be present?
Yeah, well, it's different. It's different elements. I have some morning practice I do, which is physical, warming up the body, some yoga and stuff. So that I would say that's the only sort of thing I do every day. But the work that I do, the work of Byron Katie, is meditation on many levels. And
you mean by doing the work, so to say?
Yeah, you're doing it as a you're sitting in meditation working. And I do that with clients every day, or do courses or retreats. So in that way, my job is to be in that meditative place. So that's my practice, you could say. It's
so you work full time with that, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because you also work in business corporations and business leaders.
Yeah, companies and management groups and stuff. Yeah, and of course that usually that doesn't go quite that deep, and sometimes it does. It's incredible what where we can go with some of these things. But yeah. When I'm out doing that, it has a bit more of a presenting quality and less of the sort of the depth retreat work. But because it's within the space of the workplace, and there's it feels to me like there is a limit to. No, it can be full days, but there's a limit to how deep I invite people, but they're with their colleagues, and it's a bit of a different environment.
When you know friends around you. But now you've been here for 5 days in Mundekulla.
Yeah, exactly.
Been able to go deep.
To go really deep. Yeah.
I think people might wonder. We can get back a little bit more how you work, but what is the work?
That's I agree. People probably wonder. So the work of Byron Katie is a form of self-inquiry, which is just like a bigger field of practices that are about inquiring into yourself. And there are many different forms of this. I would say Zen with its koans is a form of self-inquiry. Maharaj's who am I question and just going deep with that is a form of self-inquiry. There are all these different forms of contemplating what's going on inside. And one of them is this process called the work of Byron Katie, which is a form of inquiry developed or discovered or whatever we want to call it by this American contemporary woman called Byron Katie, there are two qualities that I really appreciate about her format. One is that that it has sort of a structure. It's a very simple structure, but it's like a series of little meditations, and that sort of process there is in it seems to work very well for people. It's not just a big open space. There is some steps. That's one thing I really like about it. And then it has this really cool concept called turnarounds, which is the notion that you're caught in some beliefs, and then you can turn them around and look at it from another perspective. And those two elements make it different from many other forms of self-inquiry. But it's called the work of Byron Katie, and the fundamental notion, and that's not Katie's, the work is simply these questions and turn. It's the process. But how I like to explain it is to say that we all have, I like to call it our different maps of reality. We all look at reality differently. You and I can be looking at this candle, and we're both looking at a candle, but what happens in us is very different. You put it here, and you have a story with this candle, which is alive in you when you look at it and experiences with it. I don't have that. For me, it's a new experience to look at it. And so but I have other stories about candles. So we are putting our stories onto the candle, while the candle is there. So we could say the candle is some form of reality, whatever that is. And then we have our stories we put on it. And the challenge with these maps of reality is that sometimes our stories are painful. If I had been
in a fire or something.
Yeah, good example. If I had been in a fire, I might be scared being this close to a candle. But actually there is nothing dangerous about this situation. It's not going to burn me. But if I had been in that fire, my head would be filled with images from back then, stories about how terrible this could be, and images of the future if it fell over and then light turned something on. And so what the work is this process of looking at these inner stories that we put upon things. And that could be the candle, but obviously I put them on everything. I put them on you. So if someone is really annoying, I meet some person and he's just not listening, and he should be listening to me, and he should be paying attention, and he should give me space, and all these things we put on people. The truth, of course, is no, that person is just there and they're free to be who they are. Unfortunately, but that's reality, right?
Can't you change it? Please, can't
exactly,
change.
Right? And we
can't
do
you be
so
blue
much
instead?
we do so much and we apply so much pressure and manipulation and stuff to change the world to fit our apparently fit our needs. But the truth, and it's hard work. And the other option is to go in and look at, I need him to change, or he should listen to me. Is that actually true? So it's a big, you could say, uncovering of this fundamental question. Is it actually true that this person should be different, or this, that I'm in danger, or, whatever it is. And through this process, what usually happens, anything can happen, but I would say if you're looking at something for half an hour or an hour, you will discover things. And what I discover usually is, no, he should not give me more space. That's not the thing. The thing is, I should give me more space. This is one of the turnarounds, right? What's happening is that, for instance, in this example, I'm so full of my stories about him that there's no space to actually experience the moment, or check in with myself, or ask for some space, or whatever I need. I'm not doing that. And discovering that is like going back from the other people's business into my own life, my own world, and realizing, well, I can ask for some space.
Yeah, I was just going to say, instead of just thinking thoughts, smiling by having negative thoughts, actually say something, or express it, or create a relationship with it.
Which is what I would naturally do if I didn't have my stories. If something doesn't work for me, I'd just say, hey, could we wait a minute?
Or like a child would do that.
Sorry?
A child will do that.
Yeah, too. Totally. Like and we do it in so many areas in our lives where we don't meet these stories. I mean, we have stories about everything, but they're not all painful or in the way. But those that get in the way, we can look at.
So in a way, it's harder to do when it's something painful, because when it's something like I started, it was easier to say that I like when you walked around there and I smile. Yeah, that is easy to say. But if there would be a challenge between us, maybe that would be harder to actually raise, and then I would just pretend that.
If you had the belief that you had to be the best person in the world, right? If that was part of your identity, that you have to be better than everyone else, it might be difficult for you to acknowledge that you actually
project
because no, I can't say that would make me weak or whatever. So you're unfree and you're not in peace. And then you could work on that. I need to be the most important person in the world. Ernest is a challenge, whatever it might be. And working through that, you would discover, no, it's not true. And that would set you free to be a human with me again. Instead of being...
Pretty close to become...
All of that. Yeah.
Close. But you said self-inquiry, which I like, and I like that word. But I'm also thinking, could we say also that it's a change of mind or change of thoughts?
Yes.
Because of change your thoughts on the world.
Yes.
The world of
yes.
Instead of like...
And the only thing...
You can't change the world, you can't change the candle, but you can change your thoughts about the candle.
Yes. And if I'm a little nerdy with it, I would say you can't even change your thoughts. Since, I mean, we've tried that since the dawn of time, right? We want to see something differently. We want to like someone we don't like or whatever, and we can't. The thoughts happen and we can't change them. But what we can do is...
We judge without wanting to judge.
Yeah, all of us, we don't want to judge. We want to just be loving, kind human beings.
And someone said 2,000 years ago, judge and you won't be judged.
Yeah.
It's a pretty tough one.
It's so if I be a little nerdy, it's like, you can't change your thinking. You can question it. You can't let go of your thoughts. You can question it, and then your thoughts let go of you. That's how Byron Katie puts it.
Say that again. You can't.
Yeah, I can't change my thinking.
I can't change my
I
thinking.
cannot.
No.
No. But I can sit down and question it with, for instance, the work. And then I see through it. And then it's like it lets go of me.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't believe it anymore. I can stop believing. I can't stop the thoughts, but I can stop believing them.
So go back to the original example with the light. You probably still would have fear when it comes to fire, but it won't take you. It won't stop you from being.
Because we can both understand the thought. This candle could cause a fire, right? We both. The thought comes up, but the difference is if I'm out of my story, I don't believe it'll be a fire. I can look at it and I can say, like so many other thoughts, it becomes like, oh yeah, that's true, and then I just move on. I mean, you look at the world and you have 100 thoughts, like, oh, they might be late, or this might not work, or maybe it's not recording, or there's so many, but you don't believe. If you believe it's not recording, then that's a very different reaction you have. Is it making sense? The way I put it, yeah. So it's like an undoing.
So that's
of all those
to be gentle with ourselves. We will have negative thoughts. We will judge things, but we kind of need to.
And then we can just look at them. It's another way to put it is to say it's like we have all these little children inside. These little precious ones, our hurt and our pain and our fears, and it's like having all these little children. And how we usually treat them is they show up. You do something that triggers me. And then this shows up in me. And I want to be this spiritual, kind person. So what I do as it shows up is I try to suppress it and put it back down. No, go away. I am a kind, happy person. So what this process is instead, it's like, you can just imagine it was a real child. Would that be a good way to meet a child that comes crying to you? Would you say, no, go away, go down in the basement? We would never treat a child like that, but that's how we treat ourselves all the time.
More hard on ourselves than on our surroundings.
So much, like tenfold, right?
And but what we can do that is pretty in general for everyone in a way.
That's how I see it. That's my own experience for me, and when I work with
that's
clients.
True to me too. I can definitely see that.
So instead of doing that thing, we invite it up. We say, oh honey, like, oh, you're scared. Come here. Tell me everything. Tell me what's scaring you. Well, the man says I'm not good enough. Oh, does he? Are you sure? Yeah, he thinks I'm so stupid. Oh, really? Is it true that he thinks you're stupid? Can you absolutely know that? And that's the work. Those were the two first questions in the work. So it's like we start this conversation with ourselves, or this inquiry. Can I absolutely know he thinks so? So I'm allowing it in. And as I listen to it and help it question itself and do these turnarounds, it's like seeing through. No, he doesn't necessarily think I'm stupid. Maybe he's also just afraid. And the point is, I think I'm afraid of being stupid. And then therefore I attack him, so I think he's stupid. And that's really what's bothering me. So I can't let go of it, but I can invite it in, and as I do, as I really love it and listen to it, I will see through it, and it will, as I said, let go of me. And until you've tried it, it can feel hard.
I'm looking forward to trying it.
Yeah, we can see if we can do it.
Just raise the 4 questions to be exact. Is it true? Or first the issue, I guess.
Yeah, first, if I put it the way I like to put it, I would say it's like 5 little meditations. The first meditation is, what is it that's causing? Usually it's the emotion we register. I'm stressed out, or I'm sad, or I'm hurting, or I'm afraid, so I register the emotion, and then I sit with that to discover, what am I believing that is causing this emotion right now? What is the perception of reality I have that is causing this? Oh, I'm perceiving that this candle is dangerous, or I'm thinking you don't like me. Okay, that's why I'm so tense. Yeah. Okay, so now I have Peter doesn't like me.
That's right? The issue, kind of.
That's the belief.
But I also call it a meditation, just to raise awareness around that.
Yes, totally. Already that is the first meditation. I become aware.
Because that probably goes around in your case, if that would be the case, in many situations in life.
That's so
it's
key.
Not only me, it's like.
And therefore, that's the power. I work on you. I work on my beliefs about you, but actually, when they let go of me, my beliefs about so many others have let go. True. So it's because they are underlying. They show up in so many ways in my mind. So the first meditation is figuring out, what am I believing? Okay, I'm afraid you don't like me, right? Okay, and then the second meditation are these questions: is it true? I just look at it, and those are the first 2 questions of the work. Is it true? And can you absolutely know that it's true? So can I absolutely know that you don't like me?
Think that it is true.
Yeah. And sometimes I even think I can absolutely know it, because I can see it in how you talk to me or something, right? I really believe that you don't like me. You and I, because we are not triggered or in the situation, we can see that it's an interpretation. But when you're in it, it really feels like reality.
You're haunted, and you can really
you can just, and you find your proof anywhere. That's what the mind does. It creates a map of reality, and then it finds proof, because we prefer the stability of what we think we know. So that once I believe you don't like me, I'll find all the proof that you don't like me. Oh, he didn't say hi. Oh, he's looking at me strange right now. He's thinking I'm an idiot right now. I can do that.
Make stories, yeah.
Totally. So first I question that, and I may come up with yes, it's really true. Then the third question: how do you react? How do I react? What happens when I believe this thought?
So what happens in you when you believe that thought? Yeah.
And how do I react? So that's a deep dive into my nervous system reactions to that. And that's usually not very pleasant, right? I notice how stressed I am. I notice how I treat you, how I back away, how my heart closes, how I see images of other people who didn't like me. And
I'm starting to think about role play. Like in that situation, then our relationship, you would in our relationship be a different person than when you meet someone next moment that you love or that you like.
Yeah. So it's an identity that shows up.
We keep playing roles all the time, because in this situation I act like this, and here I can act like this, and then
and it's not under our control. It's the effect of believing what we believe. Yeah. The tagline for the work of Byron Katie: who would you be without your story? And I really like that. Who would you be without your story? It's this. Because that's a really interesting question. If I had no stories about anything, who would I be?
Right? And there would be that newborn child that's just clean and clear.
Yeah, something like simply being, or
expecting love and giving love.
Yeah. So it's actually a very deep, mystic, spiritual practice that can take me endlessly deep into that exciting question of who am I? But it starts just by noticing,
bringing up something.
I'm afraid right now about something here.
But do you do it on your own then, pretty much?
Yes. You can do it. You can do it on your own. You can be facilitated by others. I do it on a daily basis, on myself, on my own. My daily practice is very much with clients, and one of the things that are nice.
You kind of also work with yourself.
That's the thing, right? I facilitate you. My clients bring me all my problems, and they pay me for facilitating them, and I'm just traveling along with them.
I don't have any problems. When you started working with clients, you realize you can relate to everyone.
But then they do the work for me.
That's the thing about self-inquiry or working with yourself, that we humans can relate to everyone. Everyone, even if you haven't been through the same things, it's so easy to tap into and feel. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's
that empathy and the connection that comes from
that empathy, how that is kind of just is in us naturally.
Yeah. So first, identify the thought, the belief, you don't like me. Is it true? Can you absolutely know that it's true? How do you react? What happens when you believe this thought? I get stressed, I get sad, I pull back, okay? And we get a deep experience. This is not an intellectual exercise. This is a deep dive, and that's why it's a meditation. It's like it has to go to the nervous system,
and also maybe easier than with a facilitator, because if you just sit on your own, maybe it's like
in the beginning, and it's like every other meditation, you float away, and then you just come back. It's but yeah, so that's the third question. And then who would you be without this thought, which is then stepping into what would it be like to be here now. I've felt what it's like to be here with you when I believe you don't like me, and now I visit what would it be like to be here with you without that belief? And I suddenly noticed I would be open, I would be available to you, I would actually discover, I would be able to listen to what you say and discover you're a really nice guy. We might find common interests, and I feel so different. So now my nervous system, or whatever we call it, but my system has had an experience of what's it like to believe this, and what would it be like not to believe it, which is really nice, because then it wakes up and goes, maybe it would actually be nicer to not hold on to this belief, right? And if I've gone really deep in what it costs me, there is a readiness now to let go of it. So those are the 4 questions. And then we get to those turnarounds, where we take the statement, turn it to the opposite in different ways.
Do the round once again, or?
No, we look for if that could actually be as true or truer. So Peter doesn't, it's like, here are the turnarounds. Peter doesn't like me, right? The first turnaround is, I don't like me.
You turn towards yourself.
Yeah. Exactly. And then I look for, could that be true? That in this situation, as I'm sitting there with you, I don't like me. And I can discover a lot of things there. I don't like me when I feel this way, but also that what I'm afraid of is actually that you have seen something in me that I don't like myself. And that's why I'm so worried. Like you see me as too much. And I don't like that I'm too much. And I fear you're seeing that, and then I'm projecting that onto you, but it's actually my projection. So I'm moving home to myself with that. Could be one discovery. But there can be many things. But the first turnaround, I don't like me. And then back, Peter doesn't like me. The next turnaround is, Peter does like me. And then I look for that. Could that actually be true? This is like from the I know mind, the closed mind, that only sees the world one way. I open up to seeing there are other options. It's the don't know mind. So I go from I know mind, which is very certain, into don't know mind. So Peter doesn't like me, turned around, Peter does like me. And I start looking for evidence that you actually like me. Okay, he's sitting here with me. He hasn't left the room. He actually invited me in here. He's brought me something to do. He's created this cozy atmosphere. Like,
there's got to be something.
Yeah, it doesn't quite add up, right? So I can find that. So now my mind is beginning to go, it's not necessarily entirely true, right? And then the third turnaround is, I don't like Peter. Yeah, so the turned around me to you. And I can look at that and I'll discover, for instance, how I am with you when I think you don't like me. Then I start making all these stories about why
you don't like yourself being that.
Yeah, but also that for me it's very often like when I feel someone doesn't like me, I'll try to make them unimportant. So I'll have all these stories why it's not important that you don't like me. You're an inferior person. You don't matter. You're nobody. You're nothing. So never mind.
How your mind kind of goes on.
To protect myself, right? But that's me not liking you. And then I discover how that feels. That's not nice. Now I'm pushing you away. I mean, that's really... So, and we do that like very often if it's on a person. We have something called the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, which is a really lovely thing where you fill out all your judgment, all my judgments about you in a certain situation. And I work through all of these judgments. And when I get to the end of that, I see the situation completely differently. And it's impossible to understand unless you've tried it. Most people have tried it somewhere in their life.
I mean, there's a lot of things because, you can... I think that's probably meaningful as well, just to write down all the things that you don't like.
Just discovering what the mind is actually doing, because we try to hide it. I'm this nice guy.
You know, I moved out here living as a hermit the first couple of years before I started Mundekulla. And the first thing I realized was my negative thoughts.
Yeah.
Because before, I remember myself saying like, if I was invited to 3 parties one night, I went to them all because I was afraid of missing out on something. I felt like, now I just have to sit still and be with myself. And the first thing, and I pretty much did it 3 years, but the first year was pretty much in solitude. Now I look back on it with a smile and think I long back for it. But I can also recall moments when I was sitting there and shit, that's fucking mine.
Yeah.
How I try to, everything I do for a reason.
Yes.
Or I try to act good. Or I try to, I know the way, it's like, shit.
Yeah, to be lovable.
Monkey mind.
Yeah.
And then I was alone.
Yeah. So, but even there, we are doing so much just to be worthy of
because
of
also
love.
the experiences I've had, or we've had before.
Precisely. They show up. And, so in that stillness, and that's exactly why, another reason why this is to be understood as a meditation and not an intellectual exercise, because in that stillness, all this stuff shows up, right? But we have to get still first. If we go to a party every night, we never have time to check in with ourselves.
There's so many people who don't dare to stop because it's so much easier just to go on and you get...
don't dare, or how I like to see it is that we are running these strategies and we learn them early. Most of us grow up in an environment, we learn these strategies of survival, of coping, and they stay with us when we grow up. And this is like, so a coping way to handle all this stress is to just go to parties all the time. And that may have been good when our nervous system was less mature and we needed distractions. But you sitting out here, getting still with yourself, makes you ready to begin the journey of, slowing down and uncovering what's actually going on and then meeting it instead of running from it. And it's not so much necessarily a matter of fear or not daring. I think I'm reacting because there is an unkindness to yourself if you say you don't dare, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And really it's the mind is just the sweetest thing. It just really tries the hardest it can to do what we have asked it to do. We just put stupid stuff in there and then it tries all it can.
Also, if you haven't experienced silence, if you haven't experienced those things, then you don't know what you miss out on.
Also, of course.
But I also thought that when you turned around the first question, I also thought that could be judgmental. Instead of saying like Peter don't like me or Ernest don't like me, and it's like I don't like myself.
Yeah,
that is a pretty big thought.
Yeah,
I guess. Some people can be really, because that's the thought that keeps going in many people's head, or in all our head, all of us in a way.
Our self-hatred,
we're judging ourselves. But
and I agree.
It's not to get stuck in there.
So this is why these 4 questions are so important. to do first. If you go straight to turning things around, it becomes very
harsh. Yeah.
But when you've been observing all the things you do and all these details in how you react and what it would be like to be without it, then it's a very different thing. It's more like a process of discovery to see, wow, I really don't like myself when I do this. It's not that, oh, I don't like myself, that's bad. It's more like, for instance, I have discovered how I don't like being unkind. I really don't like it. And that's what motivates me to be kind. It's no longer trying to get other people's love, approval, and appreciation. I mean, of course it is sometimes, but the strong motive is, I've really seen what it costs me when I'm mean to you. So I'm not doing it for you, and I'm not doing it for love. I'm doing it because it hurts, and it's crazy to keep hurting yourself. But you have to discover it first. It's like how many times do you need to put your hand on the hot stove to discover that's a bad idea?
It hurts.
Yeah. So it's like, it's instant. It's just, and you'll never do it again. That's how quick our nervous system can learn. But it requires that I'm actually aware of doing it. And what most of us do is similar to like being in the kitchen, putting our hand on the stove, not being aware of it, and then going into the living room. And when we go in there, we discover I have blisters all over the place. And then we're like, there must be something with the door to the living room, because every time I go through, it hurts.
You don't.
And then the whole
so
life
obvious
becomes...
in that case, but the mind don't work.
Well, the thing is, until I realize that it's the stove that's hurting me, I can't change my... But the moment I see it, I'll just never do it again. But as long as I think it's the door into the living room, then I'm working on the wrong thing, and I keep hurting myself, and I think it's the door's fault, right? And that's the gift of discovering that I don't like me, for instance, right? That's me putting my hand on the stove. I had a few people on this retreat who were completely new to the work, and they had come because, we want to go to Mundekulla. There's some turmoil in my life. I want to come here. It's such a peaceful place. I will relax. And they were used to retreats being, retreating back and finding peace and calm. And they said this was like a boot camp of just looking at all the stuff. They now call their normal life vacation time. But of course that's
what a retreat can be.
Yeah, that was their experience, right?
Yeah,
because that's what it's really looking at. How am I treating myself? And that's pretty tough. But in the silence of 5 days, you can look at some of the really deep stuff. And when that gets cleared up, when you go back to your life, there's just so much you don't do anymore.
Yeah, I was thinking with this picture you show with put your hand on the stove.
Yeah.
Do you think that the work of Byron Katie has worked like that for you? Like if you have an issue and then if you work it out, it's like over and done with.
Yeah, completely. I mean, it's not.
I want to do this.
Not. Yeah, it's not
time.
Yeah. Well, it's getting tricky, but I want to say the work is just 4 questions and an invitation to turnarounds. So there's no magic in it. It's all you're doing. It's simply an invitation to a process you do. And whether it works or not, of course, completely depends on what you do with it. So if...
And maybe also you start digging in things that you're not aware of, so maybe it takes more time too.
So and sometimes it's very complex situations.
5 days to kind of maybe work through the same issue over and over again.
Yeah, or from different elements of the same issue. But when you do it as a practice, like I've done, what happens is that it's not even like I decide not to put my hand on the stove. It just doesn't happen anymore. So one of the lovely things about this is it's not something I need to then go home and do. The change has already happened. I show up in a different way. It's a change of an unconscious strategy or process that just becomes different. And if you ask about my life, the answer is yes, I am so different now than I was 10 years ago. And it's not because I'm doing anything. It's a lot of things I'm not doing anymore that makes me just at peace. And sometimes situations show up where someone else reacts differently, and I remember, oh yeah, that's how I used to react as well. But it just doesn't come up anymore. And in that way, it feels like magic. And I really can't take credit for it. I mean, it's not that look at how good I am. It's simply the process of clearing the mind and finding that calm just does amazing wonders. but it's not necessarily like, okay, fix me. Like a client that comes and says, fix me.
It's this thing that has had the most impact on your life.
100%. Like I've been a tool. Like I look for things that work and tools to actually make a difference. And so I'm an NLP master practitioner. I've tried all these different modalities. I've worked with hypnosis, all kinds of things. And every time I found something that I felt was even more profound and even more effective, I picked that up and made that mine. And when I found the work, it wasn't just a little like incremental improvement. For me, it was like a quantum leap to a whole other level of things that work. And I'm completely open to finding something more effective. And I'm curious, I check things out. And so far, it seems the work is my practice. And I haven't found anything that was more effective for me.
No,
so, yeah.
Yeah, but so if I want to do an issue, how should I start?
Yeah, let's try it out. So we just before we started, you told me that one thing you could bring was this whole Corona situation.
The Corona situation has been tough on me, on Mundekulla, and I think also my coworkers, and of course the whole world. But to see it, my own part.
Yeah, the personal element. Yeah.
The thought that comes out: can I do it? Can I do the work on something like that?
You can do
because it seems like it's a thing rather than a person.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've used no. There was the candle example. Look, it's inquiring into my belief system, and your world is your belief system. So for those that are a little more like open for the hoochie boochie stuff, you can try this on. Like as we're sitting here right now, there is a coronavirus in the world. Can you absolutely know that that's true? In this moment?
I would say yes.
Yeah. In this moment, you can know that. Just now. How would you prove it to me right now?
Well, if I really go deeper, I can probably say that when we started the situation, it was there because I heard the news, and but maybe during the time we've been sitting here, maybe it was all gone.
Sure.
So maybe it's not there.
Yeah, so that's one way to look at it. The cure could have been out now, and everything has changed. That could be, right, theoretically. And since you don't know, you still live in a world with Corona. Yeah. But for me, it's even like deeper, and I know it's a little, but just to show so I'm married, I have children, but right now in this moment, my only proof that I'm married is a memory. It's an image in my head. Right now in this moment.
You have a ring?
Yeah, I do, and it's our initials. But that doesn't actually. No. The point is, my whole world is a construct in time. All that's real right now is this. That's all that's
what it comes down to. What we started talking about.
The present moment is it, and then I hold this whole world in my head with wives and children and Corona, and that's what's stressing me out. So that's like and this is a little far-fetched for some perhaps, but really your world is a construct. Of mind.
No, but that can totally relate to that.
And if no one had told you about Corona, there wouldn't be Corona in your world.
No.
Right now, just notice right now. Now I will mention your left toe, your left pinky toe. Right?
Pinky toe, huh?
Yeah. Now it's there. But just a moment ago, it wasn't actually there in your mind. No. Does that make sense?
I would never think about my left pinky toe.
No, it was just it's just not part of your world, and now I brought it in, and now it's there.
Yeah, so the same thing with Corona. All of a sudden
exactly. It's there. We didn't think about it.
And the fear is there, because
and every time we check in with it, the fear comes because it comes with a lot of images. And in your case, like, will Mundekulla survive? Will I get ill? There's so many aspects of it, and they come with the thought. But it's actually the thoughts that come, that inner world comes, and then the emotional reaction comes. So what is an example of a thought you have about this Corona epidemic?
Example of a thought.
And you don't have to make it a thought. You can just.
No, but I think it's like now we started up around 4, 5, 6 courses, and of course there's thought that comes up in mind, like maybe they close down again. There's a second one coming, and then we won't cope because now we're just about to cope.
Yeah.
But
then you'll break. Finally.
Yeah. Then because we're on so small.
Yeah. Yeah. So look at just the structure of this, the anatomy of this is that, do you know if a second wave will come?
No, that's probably based on fear due to information.
Yeah, exactly. So right now, is there any way you can know for sure if there will be a second wave of Corona? No. But your mind, which is constructed for the purpose of avoiding danger, brings it up. Oh, but what if there's a second wave? And with it, then you create all this anxiety. And then let's say the second wave never comes. Just consider how much time and energy you've spent You couldn't do anything about it, but you were spending it in your mind. Like, I think, I don't remember who said it. It's said in different ways, but the sentence is, I've had many problems in my life. Most of them never happened.
No.
Right? And I like that. Because we work, that's what the mind does.
But it's pretty interesting because I also told to my team the other day that I feel more optimistic now. Because I think during the summer I was more like, you just do what you have to do for now. And I have a feeling there will be a second wave, but now we just have to survive for now. But then maybe due to some connections that I had, meetings, I've had friends that come by and that I feel more optimistic, so I can like see the broader perspective. Yeah. But it's still there. Yeah. But I can see what you say that.
Well, the optimistic story is just another story about the future.
That's true.
We still don't know what's going to happen.
No. But stay neutral.
But what we'll do now is this. Let's say it happens, because that's what the mind is showing you, right? So let's say there will be a second wave, and let's say Mundekulla goes down. Yeah. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I guess the first thought is sadness.
Yeah.
And all everything we've built up and strived for so many years. Yeah. That we were just about to succeed. This year was the best year ever. Yeah. Was to be, and it became the worst.
Congratulations. Yeah. Yeah. So,
and now we lost people working here, so it's like starting from anew. And if that would happen, then it would be sad for me, but I also think it would be sad for people. Yeah. But maybe not. Maybe someone else can do it even better. So.
Well, so that's the interesting thing, right? So if you lose Mundekulla or Mundekulla falls apart, that will be a bad thing, right? That could sum it up in certain ways, right? Is that true? That if you lose Mundekulla, that would be bad? Is that true?
Maybe not. Not 100%. Maybe it would be good also. I would have time for other stuff. I could do more music. I could do more interviews like this.
Yeah. So can you absolutely know that it's true that if you lose Mundekulla, it will be bad for you?
No. There's a positive feeling to it, actually.
Yeah. Good. You're quick. So just sit with that no for a second. Like, I can't absolutely know. No. Interesting. And just
maybe there's also something. I think I've taken on also some kind of a thought belief that I have to do this. Yeah. And not only, I mean, maybe it's also from earlier things that happened in my life that I want to be a tool, a vehicle for something bigger than myself. I want to help people. So I need to do this. But what about?
But maybe there's anything. Yeah. Well, maybe there's an even better way you could be to the help of the world. That's getting in the way. You're getting in the way of because you're clinging to Mundekulla. You see? Maybe there's a bigger plan for you. But you're running around running this place.
Yeah, no, that's that.
Okay, so
I can totally see that.
Yeah, so it's a no. I can't know for sure, right?
No.
Yeah, and I see that's nice. But now we'll then step into it. So when you believe that it would be a terrible thing, a catastrophe, to lose Mundekulla, when you believe that thought, how do you react? What happens?
Well, I can feel that maybe I'm not a good leader. And I'm also let my own nervousness or anxiety touch others or have an impact on other people. Yeah. Maybe I find myself being more, maybe to the near and dear ones, that I have like more of I give up, or I come with negative energy, or I come like, we don't have enough money, we don't
deflated, that story running in that story.
And maybe also not blaming others, but it can be seen as some kind of a blame, because other people feel like they need to do something, or they need to do more. Yeah. Because I have a problem in a way.
Yeah. And how does it feel? Like in your body?
I don't like that part. I don't like that person. When I become that person, I don't like myself. No. Because I want to be positive, have a positive impact on my near and dear ones, but I mean in life in general. Yeah.
And even just look at the thought itself. If I lose Mundekulla, it'll be a catastrophe. Notice how that feels. Like the tension, the anxiety, right? You feel that?
Strong.
Yeah.
Feeling, pretty.
And what images are you? What images is your mind showing you about the future when you believe this? Just get close to them. What are you seeing in your mind? If I lose Mundekulla, it'll be a catastrophe. What are you seeing?
Yeah, then maybe I come back to the thought that I am the one to run it. You know.
But I'm actually talking specific images in your head. We usually don't notice that, but that's how the mind runs. So let me support you.
What images do I get
when
I get the question?
Yeah, it's like I see the buildings in decay.
Yeah.
I see the beautiful thing I built covered in or fallen apart.
We're turning into something different.
The vibe going out of the place.
And maybe there's something else and becomes something that I didn't intend it to be for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And so maybe there's some fear in that. What happens then?
Yeah, definitely.
If I can't cope, maybe that is a big thing that I've been holding on to.
Yeah.
Of course, it could be turned to something beautiful, even more beautiful.
Now
but
we
it can
are
also
in
be something.
With the thought. Yeah, but now we're.
But that's only my judgment. Maybe something else.
And now we are in that part where we look at what am I like? How do I react? What happens when I believe the thought? It'll be a catastrophe. Right? We just stay there. I can hear you. You are already running. But let's stay with that just to just land the impact of, like, how do you react? What happens? And you get anxious. You project. You get tense with others. You are deflated with your friends. There's this fear of the future. The story. You probably look at all the years you've spent building this place, and it was all for nothing. And there's this.
Maybe also have a feeling that probably I created. Maybe it's just my family background and also brothers and sisters and mother and father, and so that I've taken on a role that I should cope and I should not be the one who's asking for help or who's not good enough.
So you can't. Yeah. If it falls apart, it means I'm not good enough. And that whole identity that I've built, because you can't be in a place like this for 20 years and be who you are in this place without it becoming part of your identity.
No. That's also what I felt.
Yeah, and we want
for a long time. Anyway,
that it is. This is a success story.
And that's what I'm trying now. I have a girlfriend now, 1 hour away, and my intention is to move there and be there. More. And that's been my intention for the last year, but then Corona came and I'm still there a lot, but I'm leaving there tomorrow and then I'm staying there a week and then I'm coming back here for a week and I go back and forth. And my idea, or one of the reasons for why I rather come down there than trying to bring her up here is that I need to
get some distance.
Unidentify myself with Mundekulla because.
But of course, if you believe it'll fall apart, it'll be a catastrophe if it falls apart, then that whole identity gets in play also. Okay, so we could spend half an hour on this easy, just on this question.
5 days.
Exploring. But really just exploring all the things that happen in you when this thought comes up. It's huge. It's your childhood. It's all brought into action. I'm not good enough. The whole thing happens. Right? But because of time, we'll move to the next thing. I think we have a sense of what it is. So who would you be without the thought? Like, in this situation with Corona threatening, Mundekulla and all of that, who would you be without the thought if Mundekulla falls apart, it'll be a catastrophe?
Yeah, that would be the person I want to be, and I am in a way. Or like in the core of me. That if I would see like Corona came and I was just I'm calm.
Yeah.
And I can be a good leader. I can be like have trust that.
Surrendered to life, trusting the universe.
Whatever is going to happen, but still do my job. Like I've been tapping into that quite a lot. So this, I usually say that at 90% of my time I feel like optimistic, but then I come to this 10%.
And those are the 10% we want to work with.
Yeah, definitely.
The 90% are cool.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we usually do. We go to, no, I'm okay. We move, let the 90% attack the 10% and push them down.
No, that's true.
But that's work. Instead, we bring the 10% up. Yeah, we bring the 10% up. Imagine they could go away, so it's 100%.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's what I...
Yeah. So without the thought, you would be more calm. You would be more trusting. And what would it feel like? If you're looking at this Corona thing, maybe there's a second wave, maybe Mundekulla will disappear, but you don't have the thought.
I can see a picture of myself walking more like happily, steadily, breathing more freely and feeling calm instead of feeling like stress or like I have to fix it.
Yeah,
I have to take care of it or others or be responsible.
And notice, we don't know whether Mundekulla will go down or not. We don't know. But this thought does this. This thought actually creates the reality now because you're witnessing it in the future. Then it becomes your reality now, and then your body reacts as if it's real. And so stress, anxiety, all the stuff as if it was real.
Hard to sleep at night.
Exactly. Just all of that happening. Okay. But without the thought, You're walking straight. You're calm.
How can you get without the thought?
Sorry?
How can you get there?
Well, we're not there.
Not
right
there.
now, we're just
10 minutes to go.
Right now, we're just
there.
Right now, we are only stepping into just discovering who would I be without the thought. It's not a push. It's not a doing. It's just seeing it without. Okay, this is what the thought does, and this is what it would be like without it. So do you have a sense of what it would be like to be without the thought? Okay, because now then, and we're moving pretty fast here, but now we get to the turnarounds. So, what's the opposite of a catastrophe or a bad thing?
Opposite of a bad thing happening in your life, then it's of course something positive, or just being calm. Or just...
What's the opposite of bad? It's very simple. What's the opposite?
Good.
Yeah. So losing Mundekulla would be bad. Losing Mundekulla would be good. That's the opposite. So that's the turnaround. And now then I ask you to look at that. Could that actually be true? Could there be truth that losing Mundekulla would be good?
I could totally see that.
Yeah. So what are some examples of why it would be good? Could be good.
Because it's been for 22 years of pretty hard work and not so much money. And also many late nights, and also oftentimes being the one who steps in in a crisis like this. I don't need any money. I'll make sure you get it. So
how
to
would it
live a more calm life, spend more time with music, share my music with the world. If
you lost Mundekulla,
and I also think like it's very important in my life now with this new girlfriend of mine since 1 year plus, that I don't want her to be married to Mundekulla or to be together with Mundekulla. I want her to be together with me. And I think there's been a risk in past relationships that has been more accurate. So I want to be, it's me and her that is building something. It's not our stories.
So it's not like we're looking necessarily are inviting it in. We can just see that there could actually be good from losing it. We can't know for sure it would be a bad thing. Could be a good thing. Set you free to your music, set you free to build a family, set you free to do even grander things based on your experience here. You know, someone might call from Hawaii, say, you know, would you come build something here? Oh, that's nice, I'll go there. Exciting adventure instead of just continuing this for the rest of your life. You know, we don't know what life has in store for us, but you open up to it again. So does that turnaround sound true for you? It could be as true that losing Mundekulla could actually be a good thing. Can you find that?
I definitely can sense that. I can feel maybe that's what I should do. You want to buy it?
Exactly.
And you want to buy it? Should we change position? I moved to Copenhagen.
Well, isn't it interesting? That can actually wake up. It's like, oh, maybe I want to lose it. So and when that happens, we know it's beginning to flip, right? Okay, so the next turnaround is, so losing Mundekulla would be a bad thing or a catastrophe. Losing myself would be a catastrophe.
Yeah, definitely. That I can suggest.
Yeah, and how does that relate to this fear about losing Mundekulla?
Well, I can see that I wouldn't lose myself if I would drop Mundekulla. There's a bigger risk of losing myself if I just keep on living like I've done in a way. At this part of the time. It's been so many joyful moments, but I think it's been a bit struggle. Maybe last year, couple of years, my father's died, my mother's died, divorced from Anne, and I've been more alone with the whole project. But there's also been beautiful things happening, people supporting and coming by. But I can totally see that.
That losing yourself, you are in risk of losing yourself, and that would be worse. Anyway, and look at what happens when just get small with it and go to the situation where you get anxious with your staff and with others. Losing myself is a bad thing. Like, can you see how you lose yourself when you are in the grip of that anxiety? You become someone you actually don't want to be. You said as a leader.
Yeah, totally. No, but that's right.
You lose the Peter you want to be. And that's actually worse than anything that could happen. Like, imagine living like that for the rest of your life. And I have one.
Like the story you said in the beginning, like how you picture it, we would have a conflict and the person you become.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
you lose yourself. You lose the connection to the core of trust and love that you want.
Because you don't.
And I know a little about your story, and as I've understood it, it's like you came here and you saw like it was like the universe or whatever we call it inspired you to do this, and you followed it. Is that a correct kind of?
Somehow I feel like it's not me or us have built it. It has been built through us. It's just like, it's not like, it just happens through us.
And that's you. You're the one that can be the channel for this. But actually, if it's time for this to change, and you get in the way, you're actually losing that Peter who this whole project was about being, going with the flow of. This is where this one goes, and now we do this. And is that
that makes
useful
sense.
example for you?
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Okay, yeah. Losing yourself would be a bad thing. Much worse, actually, than losing Mundekulla.
No, but I've had that feeling also that I turned 50 in 1.5 years, and I feel like I moved here when I was 25, and now I've been here for 25 years. And it feels like we created the foundation. We created a beautiful foundation, so many possibilities. But maybe it's time for someone else to step in and take it on further.
Exactly.
Some young people
with new energy.
When I was 25, I had like a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Now I have more like the overall perspective, which I like, and I can still play a role here.
Yeah.
But maybe there's a better answer to the whole situation that I don't know about, but I want to stay open to it.
Yeah. And
but I think I'm also fearful because I think the team that I have around me is so beautiful. So I think I'm thinking about them, and I feel like.
And can you absolutely know if they lose their job here that will be a bad thing for them?
We have to do that process.
Well, we'll go deep with it. But it's just the same thing.
But I can totally see that could be better, and I can also see that maybe with another leadership or a second person coming in to take on the responsibility. Everyone could prosper. Yeah, the whole place could prosper. Yeah. Everyone could be more free. Yeah. Because I can also feel the support of my crew and staff that they want me to be happy.
Yeah,
and I am, but I can, of course, I can sense that I can also.
When you step into this thought, you're not happy.
Yeah, with the Corona thing, I'm the one that is kind of like is having to deal with the toughest things in a way.
Of course. So that would set them free also if they lost Mundekulla. Wow, new adventures for them. Wonderful people. I've met them and they're amazing and they'll be fine.
So maybe we switch share.
Yeah, well, I hear the pitch. I don't have an immediate yes, and who knows, but
go home and talk to your wife.
If that's what the universe wants, I'm open. Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, we don't have so many minutes left.
No, exactly. But this is also was an example of the process, and maybe you can. Just out of this little sample, you can feel that you actually feel a little different about the prospect.
No, but I think this is, first I was thinking, no, I can't bring up me or the Corona stuff, but I think this is an issue that I'm dealing with and I have been dealing with through Corona. I think we've done a great job with fundraising. There's been so many people supporting this place. But this is the issue that I want to keep on working with, I think.
Becoming open to the flow of life, which is...
One quote that's been coming to me all this year is like, I am open to change, and it's like it's just I just like that thought. When I get that quote in my mind, it's like, I am open to change, and it can be whatever. But I mean, not to, because it's also like that detachment. Yeah. That I've known since I moved here. I felt my father and I had like a discussion. Like my father said, well, if you own something, have money, then you have freedom. And I said, no. What you own owns you.
Totally.
It's been like, so maybe also it's been like, I shouldn't say that it's my father's dream because it's more what I kind of started and I brought him into it. But I mean, we created something together, of course. And now when he passed away, it was also like, that is.
Maybe that chapter is done, and we don't know. Maybe it's another 30 years of beautiful prosperity here. We don't know.
I think, to be honest, I think Mundekulla will prosper. Yeah, because it's been growing ever since beginning, and buildings have come up and so. But maybe with different people, and that is a beautiful thought. Yeah, because it's not a matter of me or
that has its own life. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so and I just want to add sort of as a final thing, I think it's beautiful what you say, I'm open for change. And really that's going from I know mind to don't know mind, right? I know mind thinks it's God. I know mind thinks it knows what's best.
I know mind.
Yeah, I know. It's like the part of us that thinks it knows.
I know the best. Yeah.
I know what's best. I know we should keep Mundekulla. I know that if Corona comes back, it'll be terrible. I know that's the I know mind. And then that shift into don't know mind, which is like, I don't know. I'm open for change because I don't know what's best. Let God handle that. I'll just do my thing and go with what I feel. So, and that's really what the work offers. A life that is open to what's going on rather than that rigid life of having to control and micromanage everything, which is just so stressful.
That's beautiful. And it's been interesting also, ever since Corona came, there's been like a deeper layer in me that's been feeling that's been very trusting in the process. And then there's been like this on the surface, like, you go here and there, but somehow it's deeper. And I also felt like connected with my parents who passed away. I felt like a very strong connection, like, now it will be calm. And so somehow I felt calm most of the time, but then it's like, where the mind comes in.
Then the thought comes, but that's how it is. The thought comes, gets you, and you're like, and then something brings you out again. Fresh air. And the work is, work is like you can actually sit down and bring yourself out instead of having to wait for random events to.
But I think people who listen to this, they might wonder, who is this guy? Where can I contact him?
Where
can I get more information?
That's good.
Because I don't know you even do these online things. For people.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, okay. So let's do that. So I have a website. It's called theartofbeinghuman.com.
The Art of Being Human.
.com. Yeah, and there you can get a lot of material for free about this process and everything. So that's like my part.
And your book.
And my book, which is not completely free, but good. And it's about, I have several books, but this one, How to End the Stories That Screw Up Your Life, is about this process and explains it just in details. And then I do these live demonstrations, facilitation demonstrations, where something like this, just deeper and longer and with more people.
You do it live online then?
Live online on Zoom.
So
Exactly.
people can join in.
And there were like, 150 people last time. And then after which we have a conversation, they ask questions and I answer about what was going on for a couple of hours. And I have that here, I think it's the 3rd of September, but early September there is one. So if you want to get a deeper sense of this, for free and with no ties, you can just go and sign up for that, and you can come and watch that. It's pleasant European time.
Links
below here. And then I really want to mention, of course, Byron Katie, who came up with this. Her website is called thework.com, and you can go to that one. And there's also a lot of videos with her doing this process and stuff. And I just want to frame it for a Scandinavian audience. It can seem a little American at times, and I'm completely with that. And I can just say it is a powerful process, even though it may seem a little, how Americans are. but if you can see through that, then you can get some beauty there. But I've sort of Scandinavianized it a little bit, so it's a little more, like a little less religious, you could say, and a little more scientific based. We could put it like that. So if you want more, you go there. You can check that out. That would be a good.
And then what about this course that you guys had here? It was the 3rd time, but you actually intention is to bring the Scandinavian community of the work.
Yeah, we do. We have this summer camp for the work, which is what we've done here for the 3rd year. But this year, then, for different reasons, Corona included, we decided not to do the camp where we usually have different trainers, and then I just held the retreat myself for everybody. So that's clearly, and we expect to do that next year.
You've been up to 80 people, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't remember how many we were, but quite a lot.
Now it's more like 20, but I guess that's...
Yeah, it was a smaller group, But anyway, and we expect to do that next year. So, check out Mundekulla and come if you want.
Mundekulla?
Yeah.
You will take place here.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Whether Peter is here, we don't know, but whoever runs it at the time will get a visit. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
But that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And I think we'll call that a day.
Yeah.
And thanks. Nice talking to you.
Yeah,
I knew that.
Good to meet you. Good to probably meet you finally.
This is really good. Yeah. And I'm going to do this the whole fall. I'm going to interview people next week, and I'm going to talk to Kåre Landfall, who has Zen coaching. Did you hear of that? He's also very Scandinavian based, also international, but he's also working with coaching. So that's really wonderful. So then next Sunday I'll interview him, and then Bob Hansson is coming, a poet in Sweden. So then I have different people coming here. So that's inspiring to get to know people also. Yeah. This is and also open myself and share parts of myself, because usually I'm the interviewer and I'm the one in control.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, you're
got me there.
All the good stuff about Corona.
All the good stuff about Corona.
Yeah.
So if you want to send a little donation, you're welcome to do so on the Swish account. And this Mundekulla Live came about when Corona started, and I think the whole live thing that we're doing here online, we did the festival some weeks ago online and stuff. So that will continue, and that feels inspiring actually, with this whole world that opens up. So that's one good thing about Corona.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening.